I'm Kate Hahn with TV Insider, and we're talking to the cast of How I Met Your Father on Hulu. Hilary Duff, you play Sophie, who is a single freelance photographer living in New York.
My last date was the worst one yet.
I was on another date before this, and I just had sex.
He told you that? Why would he tell you that?
That's not even the worst part.
And she's been on, remind us again, how many Tinder dates, and how does she keep going?
88 in a year, in 1 year. And that's why we love Sophie, because she can keep going and going and going. And she still believes in love and still believes that her person is out there for her. And that is, I mean, that kind of like sums her up. You know, she is a freelance photographer, so no one's taking her seriously until they do. You know, it just takes one great picture for the world to change their mind about your profession, you know, or your parents to approve of what you're doing, or your boyfriend or whoever. So, you know, we're following her story, and she's a very lovable, dorky 30-year-old woman navigating her 30s in New York City in a world where everything's available, but it seems that nothing works.
Right. Well, speaking of one great image, Chris, you play Jesse, who has one terrible image in his history. He's Instagram famous for all the wrong reasons. Tell us about where he is in his dating life.
Yeah, I think Jesse has been reading a lot of like Nietzsche. You know, I think he's got a pretty nihilistic viewpoint of the dating scene, and I think what's fun about this character is, and I think it's something that Sophie really is able to pull out of him, as are the rest of these characters on the show, is that he really is a quiet idealist who was burned so badly that I think at this point his defenses are so high, and it really is going to require the sort of love of the people around him and his community to get him to kind of like take his dukes down and really sort of embrace just the all the love that is sort of supporting him at this time in his life. It's wonderful, you know. It's a wonderful dynamic to play.
Well, Tien, you play his sort of like burgeoning wing woman, right? Tell us about their relationship and what your character is looking for in New York City.
So I play Chris's sister. And I think she's moving to New York just to reconnect with her older brother. And I think she's had this dream of having this older brother in her life. And it's not aligning with what exactly she had pictured. It's almost even better than what she had maybe imagined if she would just let herself be open to that. And as far as love goes, I like to say that Ellen is divorced and ready to schmavorce. She's ready to get down and out on the town and date women and get into the dating scene as much as possible.
She wants all the options.
She just wants she really wants all the options. I think she, you know, married the first lesbian that she met in her small town, and she's ready to date.
Hilary, you know, they're all looking for love, but who is Sophie's match in your mind?
Yeah, great question.
Yeah.
Is it Jesse? Is it Drew? There are a lot of potential guys we meet right away.
I think the writers are very clever where you're not even going to know that you met him. Maybe, you know, they're going to take us on so many twists and turns. There's just so many opportunities. I think as a cast collectively, we decided to stop trying to figure it out because they're just going to cat and mouse us. I wonder how much we are going to play with Sophie, maybe like dating two people at once instead of just like, she's very new. She wants it so bad but she's not willing to settle. And we haven't really like seen her settle. More we've seen her like blow things up. And I'm excited for, hopefully we'll have, you know, a season 2 and get to explore like even more of her diving into the world of dating, which has been so tumultuous for her, but it's not like getting her down. And I hope that's like an inspiration to people, because it really is so hard out there to meet the person that it feels like you're spending your alone time with, you know? Like I know with my husband, sometimes I'm desperate to come home, but like he is my alone time, which is so wonderful and hard to find because people are draining and auditions are like, or dates are like auditions, and it's just so crappy out there, but there is hope. And I hope our show, gives hope. And when you're not finding your lover, you're finding your friend. And that's what this show does as well.
Francia and Tom, could you rate your character's passion level from 1 to 10?
10.
Always out of 10. What?
Why are they so attracted to each other?
You know what it is, right? So on the surface, it looks like they've really rushed into a relationship. And I expect most people would say that they have. I think from the way that I sort of approached it was, when you know, and he thinks he knows, which is why he's willing to give up, a very comfortable life, move to a country that he's never, I don't assume, spent much time in, for love, really.
Yeah, you get a lot of humorous mileage out of a rich British man adjusting to New York City.
Yeah.
And Francia, Valentina is maybe unsure about this decision that she made. Can you talk about that a little bit?
I mean, listen, this is what I pictured when we met in London. I was like, he's cute, he's intelligent, and he's great in bed. Ding, ding, ding. I won. So I think Valentina was very much like, I've never had sex like this. This is amazing. And then we got to know each other. And I was like, you get on my last nerve. How is this going to work? Oh my gosh, now I have to share space with you. And my apartment's not that big. And you're always there. So I think she's someone that's very much about her space and her time. And when that's challenged, I don't think she really thought things through. You see the interaction that we have. I'm really trying to take control of things.
Right. Well, in contrast to those two being too close together, Stuart, you play Sid, who is having a long distance, or LDR, long distance romance with his girlfriend, and he's facing a lot of challenges. Can you talk about that long distance relationship and what's going on there?
Yeah, long distance relationships are really, really hard, and they don't really last always, but luckily for Sid and Hannah have a very, very strong relationship. I think the interesting part about the whole thing is it's not just that they're apart from each other in a physical way, but it's also their lives are changing. They both were medicine, both were like doing the same things. They both had the same anxieties and the same stresses. But now suddenly this dude's like, nah, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to open a bar, be a bar owner, not knowing anything about that kind of world. And so his world is shifting so intensely. And Hannah's world is shifting that way, as in she's climbing the ladder. She's doing her thing. She's a very strong, independent, smart woman doing her thing. So I think the interesting thing is what holds people together. What is love? So that's what we're exploring in our little world. And it's been fantastic so far. I can't wait for you guys to see it.
Be sure to check out How I Met Your Father. Premieres Tuesday, January 18th on Hulu. For more videos like this, click subscribe.